Bradley Beal has broke his hip and he will have to have season-ending surgery. What are your thoughts on this? And ultimately, what does this mean for the Clippers? How does this affect it?
I think we're at a point where Bradley Beal's career is coming to an end. That's what it feels like. Um, it's unfortunate because I think Bradley Beal, prior to I don't think he was as bad last year as people say, but like Washington, Bradley Beal was just a really, really good player. And it's a shame, like obviously there wasn't any like real playoff success to go to, so people aren't going to acknowledge that Bradley Beal was a really good player for a few years. Um, but I think this year the Bradley Beal I saw playing for the Clippers was just not good at all. On a minutes restriction, could never really get healthy. When he was out there, he just wasn't producing anything to a level of value, not even all-star value, just good. And now obviously hearing about his hip, which is a major joint. Um, we saw where it did to Isaiah Thomas, obviously, when he played through it. So glad they're not making Bradley Beal play through this, but losing any sort of like mobility, flexibility, explosiveness already when you're at the age of 32 and you've been dealing with back injuries as well. It just feels like Bradley Beal's body is probably failing him. Um, and I think we're probably at the point where his career is going to be winding down. He's obviously still going to be getting paid for a few years because of the buyout and stuff. So his money is secure. But just in terms of his ability to contribute at the NBA level, I think is probably done, which is unfortunate for him. Now, for the Clippers, I think this is perfectly fine. Like, he wasn't helping them. I would actually argue the fact that you don't have to worry about fitting Bradley Beal into your team anymore could help you be better in the long run this season. So I don't think this hurts the Clippers in any way. I don't think Bradley Beal not being there hurts the Clippers. But I would rather focus more on what it means for him as opposed to his team, because at the end of the day, injuries are more about the individual than the team personally. So hopefully Bradley Beal can come back and revitalize whatever may be left of his career. Because you don't want to see someone's career get ended by injuries. That's always disappointing. So hopefully he can make a full recovery for next season.
I just did a little breakdown on what exactly the money situation is like for Bradley Beal, because this is not about Bradley. Bradley being hurt is like a whole separate issue, but it's just the complexity of what's happening with both rosters right now. So Bradley Beal is, because of the buyout with the Suns, he basically had around I don't know if you know the exact number, it was $96 million that they waived him from, and they spread it out over a 5-year period. So basically, the screenshot I put in, he's getting $19.3 million this year from the Suns this year for the waive. He's getting $19.3 million next year, $19.3 million in 27, $19.3 million in 28, and $19.3 million in 2029. And then that's coupled with, in the same span, he's getting this year a 1 year, 5 year, 1 year, $5,354,000 signing this year. Then he has a player option for next year for $5.6.7 million with the player option, which he probably will pick up if he obviously just has doesn't get another contract extension. So it's a really unfortunate situation, but because of where he was with his money with the Suns, y'all, he is going to make basically in excess of $100 million and not be playing basketball for at least like this season in a larger portion of that. It's just the way the waive works. I think, Mars, if I remember correctly, the largest ever waived contract is Damian Lillard. I think Bradley Beal's second.
Yeah,
that's the most money that's ever been waived from an NBA player. I know, shout out. It's just, saw the great features of the iMac. But I do think there's something to this, y'all, that like, it's just unfortunate, man, because Bradley Beal, Mars, what was 2017-18 when he was like a two-way guard with John Wall? Like, that was like, he was like actually legitimately like a good defender. And then he was a really good scorer, through 2021. Got the crazy deal that Washington, I thought, never should have gave him in the first place, but they just didn't know.
Shout out to Bradley Beal's agent. Yeah, Bradley Beal's agent must be a god in negotiations, because
he became the highest paid player in NBA history, I believe.
And he carried a no-trade clause for ages as well.
Yeah, and then somehow the Suns convinced themselves that we needed to have another third scorer making this amount of money on the roster. It's just a really bad situation, man. Like, Bradley's he seems to be a good dude. Everything I've heard about him, he cares about playing basketball, cares about the sport, but his body has just been failing him for the last several seasons now.
I think it's really tough when your body starts to fail you. as an athlete, especially when you was someone who was, on max money and a household name, basically. But I think the implications for the Clippers, though, probably, I'm actually, I think the ramifications are pretty high in terms of they were bringing him in to be a legitimate piece for this roster that had aspirations of competing. And you lose that, you've already lost Norman Powell, who obviously was him last year, and I don't think it's good for the Clippers. I really don't. They're 24th in offensive rating, they're 24th in defensive rating. They basically can't. They're basically not a good offensive team. They're not a good defensive team. They're not really good at anything at the moment. Kawhi's already being managed. They're 3-8, and another guy that was supposed to be part of something he has gone for the whole year. So I don't think it's good for the Clippers whatsoever. And I think they're probably tethering on the point now where, to Penn's point, they might miss the playoffs, man. Like, as good as the West is, I know it's early, but depending on how healthy Kawhi is,
wouldn't you be more surprised if they
yeah,
made
this
it?
could
Damien?
be
No.
Well, it depends I think it depends how the West shapes up, but I think,
Very
but
shocked
you're right.
if
I wouldn't be surprised at all if they didn't make the playoffs. I think the age thing is real. I think guys can't stay on the floor. I think the John Collins situation is weird. How he plays, doesn't play. I think Derrick Jones Jr. has been bad defensively. I think there's a whole bunch of things, but I don't think this helps, and it's unfortunate. You never want to see someone injured, but I think Bradley Beal was supposed to be a big piece for them that they've lost now as well. So doesn't look good for the Clippers, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing I can say about Bradley Beal being injured. That's what it is. But I do think they still have a roster where means more minutes for Derrick Jones Jr., more minutes for John Collins, more minutes for Chris Dunn. I'd be very shocked if this team doesn't make the playoffs. Even if it's by way of the play-in, I'd still be pretty shocked if they don't make the playoffs.
The play-in probably looks like their best bet at this point. If I had to guess, I would say the 6 teams that are in the top 6 in the West right now would probably be the top 6, give or take maybe one team. But I would say that's probably, so the Clippers would probably make it through the play-in. But yeah, I still think they're going to make the playoffs. That's my hot take, I guess. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. Started the season horribly. Yeah, their defense is just not translated from last season. Last year they were obviously top 5 defense. Zoo was anchoring an amazing defense. This year they just suck. Just playing at the slowest pace in the league by a substantial margin. Kawhi obviously now hurting his ankle early on doesn't help. There's just no real continuity. I heard Zoo talk about how guys don't even know the plays.
Yeah, is there some buy-in
concerning? I don't
stuff?
know. Yeah, I don't know. That's concerning to hear that guys are forgetting plays. They're not executing after timeouts and stuff. And I would argue Ty Lue and his coaching staff have some of the best ATOs in the league, but they're talking about how they can't execute. So I don't know what was going on in training camp or whatever the case may be, but guys just don't seem to be all the way locked in or just making mistakes that probably shouldn't be being made during the regular season, which is concerning. I don't know how you solve that. Bogdanovic hasn't looked good, so obviously working his way back from the hamstring. And it's just outside of James Harden, I would say I've been disappointed in everyone else on the roster in terms of what they've been providing on a game-to-game basis. That doesn't mean everyone's playing badly because everyone's at a different standard. But James Harden is the only one who I would say is playing at the standard you would expect. Unless I'm forgetting someone. Oh, John Collins, I think, has been cool. But everyone else, I would say, has just been disappointing. My glorious king, Nicholas Batum, has not been good. Brook Lopez, I think, has had one good game that I can remember. Like I said, Jordan Miller was good last night, but that was the first time I'd even seen him this season. So yeah, it's been disappointing all around. I don't know what to say. It's just been disappointing.
But with how much control James Harden has over that offense, how many shots he takes, can't you possibly look at their failures as potentially his failures as well?
Their offense they have an 120 offensive rating with him on the court. He is not the problem. They have a 94 when he's off the court.
You talking about James?
Yes, he is.
He's their offense. They have nothing else.
No, I'm not blaming James. In fact, I'm saying the reason they have any wins is because of him. He's been carrying the team, single-handedly carrying. This team falls apart when he's off the court. They have a negative 25 net rating when he's not playing. This is filtered out garbage time. If I just do all minutes, it's probably similar, but that was filtered out garbage time. James Harden is doing everything he can to keep this team afloat. Even last night in the first half, that game was competitive, and then it just blew open in the third. But James Harden is far from the issue. He's the only one who I would say is not the issue. If I'm being on, well, not a part of the issue. He's the only one I would say is not a part of the issue. Just in terms of availability, shouldering the offense, everything he's been providing has been invaluable for a team that, quite frankly, can't do anything without his presence.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. Yeah, the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.